I'm Kevin Redfern. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. When we come back, see how the Coyotes are preparing their roster for opening day. Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Kevin Redfern. This week, the Arizona Coyotes had two major unresolved questions regarding their opening day roster. They solved one by agreeing to a 2-year contract extension with Barrett Hayton. Now, what to do with defenseman Jacob Chychrun. Chychrun was not on the ice this morning as the Coyotes held their first practice of the new season. He's currently nursing a wrist injury and has been vocal about wanting out of Arizona. The 6-year veteran is frustrated with the team's rebuilding process. Chychrun admitted yesterday that he still desires a trade and hopes the front office can move him to a contender.
It's just crazy. I don't want to, these years to keep going by and, be 10, 12 years into the league and not had a real good chance or shot at not only the playoffs, but winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, you ask anybody that plays the sport at the highest level, they're all going to tell you they play it to win. And that's really my mentality and where I'm at.
The NHL trade deadline is February 20th, so the Coyotes have no incentive to move Chychrun anytime soon. The 24-year-old has 3 years left on his contract. Major League Baseball announced it will be implementing new rules for the upcoming 2023 season. Cronkite News reporter Edison LaCour has the latest reactions from members of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Major League Baseball has decided to ban the shift, implement a pitch clock, and increase the size of the infield bases effective next season. Now, each one of these rule changes has undergone testing at the minor league level and are now ready for the majors.
The rules next year are going to be pretty much the same as what I had all year in AAA. So I'm definitely used to them. I think it's been nice not having the pitch clock, but I understand it.
While rookie pitchers like Ryan Nelson are used to the 15-second pitch clock, right-hander Zach Davies knows there will be time for more veteran players to adjust to it.
It's going to be different. That's what spring training's for. Whether we like it or not, they're in the rules. So we're going to have to get used to them at some point.
The most discussed change has been the banning of the shift. Since 2020, the Diamondbacks have lost the second most hits in baseball to the shift, losing 197 hits in that span.
I think there'll be a little bit more base hits for the guys who get overshifted a lot. So I think it'll open up some holes. I think it'll be good for the hitters for sure.
The ban on the shift will mandate 2 infielders on either side of second base. While this benefits pull hitters, outfielder Stone Garrett says the ban won't change his mindset.
Well, honestly, I never try to hit the ball to the infielder, so I try to hit it over him. So, to me, if the shift's affecting me, then I probably need to change my approach at the plate.
The larger bases are being implemented to help reduce the amount of collisions at first base, but could also lead to an increase in stolen base numbers for speedsters like Jake McCarthy.
I've experienced it a little bit for like half a season last year in the minors. We have the bigger bases. I don't think I've ever done the pickoff rule. I could be wrong about that, but if it makes the base path a little shorter, if it gives us a little edge, I think for sure that's part of my game. So hopefully it does help.
Now all 3 of these new rule changes are set to debut next season, and the Diamondbacks will be ready to adjust to them with their young squad looking to prove themselves. In Phoenix, Edison LaCour, Cronkite News.
While McCarthy is excited about what the larger bags could do for his stolen base numbers, the team as a whole should be happy about the ban on the shift. The AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Tour has returned to Phoenix for the first time since 2009. The championship is a 2-day single elimination draw beginning Friday night and ending Saturday. The Footprint Center is currently being beachified to create a one-of-a-kind fan experience. The world's best volleyball players, men and women, will be competing in hopes to claim the $100,000 prize. 20 trucks unloaded 300 tons of sand into the Footprint Center to build the only indoor court the athletes will play on this season. While the tour has stopped in Phoenix before, this is the first time the city will host the championship.
The AVP was really excited to return to the Phoenix market. There's just been such booming interest in volleyball in general. It certainly helps that the Footprint Center is a climate-controlled space for our championship, so I think the players will really appreciate not playing in the elements like rain and wind.
That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Geraldine.
I'm Victoria Samuels. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. The Phoenix Suns start training camp while questions loom about the team. We'll have the details coming up. Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Victoria Samuels. The Suns opened training camp this morning with their annual media day. While it's usually a day of optimism, the upcoming season, the Suns were dealing with the black cloud left by the suspension of owner Robert Sarver. Cronkite News reporter Liam Archer has reaction from the team.
It was a somber media day for the Phoenix Suns, who spent most of the morning responding to the suspension of owner Robert Sarver. Suns general manager James Jones expressed disbelief in the findings of the 10-month-long investigation into racist and sexist behavior.
The state of shock, personally, you just don't want to see those types of findings. You don't want that to be the narrative around your organization.
The investigation inside Robert Sarver's workplace misconduct found that over his tenure as team owner, Robert Sarver engaged in racist and misogynistic dialogue. The report also indicated that Sarver used the N-word at least 5 times, even after being told to stop by colleagues.
When I saw the report, I was not happy about it, quite frankly disgusted. It's not a word you repeat.
Players echoed the disappointment, saying the investigation's findings came as a shock as they read the entire report.
It's not the Robert Sarver that welcomed me to Phoenix with open arms, but at the same time, I'm not, insensitive to everybody that's involved in the situation.
I read it. I read all of it, the full report, and like I said, I was bothered by it. But now we got to move on.
Sarver announced on September 21st that he would begin the process of selling the franchise as the team tries to get ready for the upcoming season. In Phoenix, Liam Archer, Cronkite News.
The Suns will begin training camp with a full team meeting tonight as they look to shift their focus back to the basketball court. And speaking of on-the-court business, the Suns also have some roster questions to answer. While all of their big names were on hand today, there was one significant player missing. Cronkite News reporter Michael Donahue tells us who won't be around for much longer.
On Sunday, the Suns and Jay Crowder mutually agreed for Crowder not to attend media day as the Suns look to trade the 11-year veteran. Members of the Suns emphasize that there's no hard feelings towards Crowder, and this decision will ultimately be the best for the team.
It's an ongoing conversation, and after very fruitful and deliberate conversations, we just decided it was best that he wasn't with us for training camp. What that means going forward, I don't know. We don't know.
These things happen, and you have to transition and move forward. I totally am behind James in how we are handling this. And again, all the stuff that went on behind the scenes will remain private.
What I know is that everybody has to do what's best for them, and I'm always going to support any one of my teammates, especially somebody like Jay, who is a huge reason why we were even successful the past few years. So.
Jones says he'll keep conversations on Crowder private at the moment and did not specify who or what the Suns would want in return for him. Crowder took to Twitter on Sunday for his feelings on the situation, saying, quote, "One must find work where he is needed." In Phoenix, Michael Donahue, Cronkite News.
Once traded, Crowder will be playing for his 8th team in the league. Saturday night, the ASU football team hosted the 13th-ranked Utah Utes, and the game marked the debut of Sean Aguano as the Sun Devils' interim head coach, replacing Herm Edwards. There may have been a new coach, but the results were still the same. Aguano watched the Sun Devils struggle as Utah had their way dominating ASU 34-13, dropping Arizona State to 1-3 on the season. After the game, Aguano was trying to deliver a positive message as his team pushes forward.
My heart, and I told them at halftime, and then I told them at the game, there will be no quit from me, and there will be no quit from our staff.
I mean, nothing will be changed in a game or in 1 week, but I do think the changes that Coach Aguano made will be, very good for our team for the rest of this season. I feel like we'll definitely improve.
It's a long way from their days together on the Arizona Cardinals, but Ken Harvey and John Booty are still playing the game they love, even though it's with a decidedly different kind of athlete, as Haley Smiler reports from our Washington bureau.
The 13th annual congressional football game pitted Capitol Police officers, the Guards, against members of Congress who call themselves the Mean Machine. Ken Harvey and John Booty say coaching lawmakers has some similarities to any other team and some differences.
It's like a real team. You got some players that are gung-ho and give 100%. You got some you got to teach. You got some you can pat on the back. Some you got to kind of shake a little bit. But, you know, it's amazing. They love to talk. I get on our little power trip, my power trip. I get to make them do push-ups. And so it's like, yeah, I'm in control.
Coaching the Mean Machine is just the latest twist in a history for the two former players that goes back to growing up in Texas.
From Texas. We went to a junior college. We didn't go to the same junior college. We were in the NFL draft together, at the NFL Combine together. Then in 1993, I became a Phoenix Cardinal then. We played 1 year at the Cardinals.
That was the 1993 season when the Cardinals went 7-9. Harvey says that playing together bonded the two and let them build a brotherly relationship. Those bonds were renewed in 2004 when the two were in Washington and were approached about coaching the Mean Machine, with Booty focusing on the offense and Harvey on the defense.
Get those bonds from playing football. We played together with the Cardinals, and so when we saw each other a long time ago, we were like, we're boys. We're together.
The two have coached the congressional team every year since. They admit it's less competitive than they're used to in the pros, and the level of play isn't as high. But win or lose, for everyone involved in the game, it's all about the charities the game raises money for, and using the platform that the lawmakers and former pros have to help out the community.
To be able to raise over $400,000 for local DC charities because of a bunch of old guys playing some very healthy cops in a football game, that makes me proud.
Proud, but not victorious. The Guards beat the Mean Machine 19-8 at last week's game, the 12th time in the 13 years that the game's been played that the Guards have won. But Booty and Harvey said they'll be back next year looking for that coveted second win. In Washington, Haley Smilo, Cronkite News.
That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Sydney.